Imagine you're a writer. One day you're making a hit series with a character you really like, and the next day you've made a single statement that turns them into a literal war criminal.
As is the case with Fallout writer Emil Pagliarulo.
Nailed it.
Anyway, when Emil tweeted out last Saturday morning that the male protagonist of Fallout 4, Nate, was one of the 2 soldiers in Fallout 1's intro sequence.
What Emil didn't realize is that those 2 soldiers were committing a war crime by killing civilians, with the one Emil claimed to be Nate even laughing at the crime.
And as you can imagine, the internet did what it does best and made a bunch of memes, including giving the Fallout 4 protag a plethora of nicknames. And no, we will not be saying these aloud.
Oh, no, you don't. I can see that you are not Canadian. You must go back to your land.
Welcome to Necro News, where we cover the hottest gaming news from the last week. This week we're covering Ubisoft dropping the ball, again, Team Fortress 2's unexpected update, the 2 massive data leaks, and more.
So subscribe to the channel and leave a like to help support the channel. Speaking of Fallout, Booster and I have been watching the live action show for a little bit, and while I've never played Fallout, the show's been pretty good so far, and has gotten me slightly interested in playing the game. Maybe. I still need further convincing though, so...
That's all on you guys. I've done everything I could. Anyway, even though the show is very faithful to the source material, any gamers who have watched felt that a pivotal moment in the series involving Sandy Shores could have nuked New Vegas into non-canon territory. See what I did? See what I did there? Anyway, the show is canon to the rest of the series, so it has a lot of gamers and fans concerned.
For those wondering why that would be, it's an open secret that Bethesda does not like how good New Vegas is compared to Fallout 3 and 4. Despite this, Todd Howard has come out to clarify once and for all that the timeline takes into account all Fallout games and has even released a full timeline events as followed. 2077, the bombs drop. Then Fallout 76, Fallout 1, Fallout Tactics, Fallout 2, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. New Vegas gets sneaked between 2281 and 2287. Then Fallout 4, and then the Fallout TV show in the year 2296.
The show is very good though, so I do recommend it. Also, it's got Walton Goggins in it, so it's always a good time.
I thought the nuke started in like the 1970s or something. When this says 22 bullshit.
It's retro future stuff.
I dislike that.
How the hell has Ubisoft not sunk yet? They keep making more holes in that quadruple A ship of theirs. How is it that they're able to scoop out the water enough to stay afloat?
I'm not even sure how they have the money to do anything since their releases have performed so terribly. The new Prince of Persia game, Lost Crown, reportedly only sold 300,000 units, which seems like a lot. With how much the quadruple A studio puts into marketing alone, there's no way they broke even.
They probably would have sold more if they'd put their games on Steam, but I guess Epic's just gonna keep them afloat. Anyway, if it seems like we're dunking on Ubisoft to be mean, you're right. But it's really because the company doesn't seem to learn from its mistakes and keeps making decisions that look desperate. Your turn.
Desperate.
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 Old men running the world. A new age.
And guess what? They're doing it again. Ubisoft's pulling a very old, dumb tactic for their upcoming Star Wars game, Outlaw. If you don't purchase the Gold Edition of the game, which is $110 fucking dollars, you don't get access to Jabba's Gambit quest.
It's some real multi-layered bullshit, too. It's a day one locked content, not a DLC, but in fact arbitrarily locked in the base version of the game. So it's locked to the season pass. But thankfully, it's included in the special editions, which cost an additional $40 to $60, depending on how bad you are with money.
And here I thought the ugliest thing that came from the game was the axolotl dog.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
Last week was a mixed bag for fans of source code releases, as the source code for 2 games is now out of their owner's control. If that sounded cryptically worded, you're right. The tactical police shooter and spiritual squad successor, Ready or Not, made the news last week as its developer, Void Interactive, was the target of a massive data breach that saw the copying of 4 terabytes of data.
Yep, and they got hit pretty hard, with the source code for Ready or Not being stolen by the unnamed hackerman. Insider Gaming was given an exclusive view of what was stolen by the hackers themselves under the condition of anonymity.
Coincidentally, through the same article, we learned that Ready or Not is getting a console port. So that's cool, I guess. On a lighter note, Void Interactive did put out a press release stating that no customer or employee data was compromised, and that they still had all of their data intact, so while the thieves did make off with copies, at least Void Interactive is still kicking.
Kicking down doors, that is.
Anyway, in other leaky news, Kevin Bentley, one of the programmers for the long-defunct game developer Outrage Entertainment, made a sudden and surprising release on GitHub.
For anyone who isn't a major nerd like our editor, you may not be aware of a subgenre of FPS games that are based solely around Newtonian physics. Just reading that makes me want to bully Skull. Side note, the word Newtonium makes me think of Professor Utonium from Powerpuff Girls, and that's all I was thinking about when I said that. Anyway, the reason we bring it up is because one of its more famous series, Descent, is finally completely open source.
On April 15th, Kevin created a Git for the last game in the Descent series, Descent 3, aka Descent Cubed, aka Descent Small 3, and released its source code as open source. It's not a complete package, as some of the proprietary audio and video code libraries have been removed for rights reasons, though given the internet, it's not going to be that way for a long time. It's probably already fixed.
And that's a big fat W for game preservation. For this next story, we're going to be diving into mobile games, specifically
Pokemon Go to the polls.
over the week, Pokemon Go updated its avatar system so that players could create an avatar that looked more similar to them.
In order to satisfy the many different types of bodies that people have, they did away with the usual feminine and masculine body types, opting instead for various different body types. But as you can see from Lanky Pink over here, the ability to create the original female avatar is lost completely.
And to make things worse, the player's avatar straight up clipped through various clothing if they are too overweight. Additionally, the skins are strangely ashy, and proportions of the new avatars are weirdly off, as pointed out by nearly everyone complaining at the official Pokemon Go Twitter account.
How will I ever type with these waggly knuckled monstrosities?
But not all is lost, as we have this fun meme.
In other, more shameless news, many people have been hit with the trailers for this mobile game that has no problems and straight up copyright theft.
For those of you who are unaware, this is technically a legally distinct version of the Helltakers theme song and format for the Helltakers ad, but that's not all.
They also shamelessly used Shigeru Yui's Loli Requiem music video, and keen-eyed viewers will notice that the background is just the music video, with the girls from the game layered in the middle of the screen to cover up Yui.
So that's it for the story. Mobile games continue to be cancer. Fuck Dragon Pal, don't play it. Also, they really didn't do their homework on that song. Are they implying that all the characters in the games are minors?
64 bits.
In a story that no one was expecting, Team Fortress 2 has gotten an update to support 64-bit systems 17 years after the game has come out. Are people really still playing a 17-year-old game?
Yes. Yeah, Team Fortress 2 continues to be even more popular than I think, most team-based games. Anyway, want to know what the most important part of this update is, though? Alt-Tab now works. You can Alt-Tab out of the game and it doesn't lag or crash the game. Isn't that great? That's great. It's so good.
I assume that wasn't normal.
Not in Team Fortress, but it is now.
Anyway, as Skull has informed me, a surprising and very welcome side effect of this update is that the hacker bots that have been plaguing casual matchmaking for as long as anyone can remember have broken as of this update. It's unclear how the update affected their ability to hacker man, but it's nice to hear the TF2 players getting a win for once.
Good for you guys. Hopefully it lasts a while.
In a story everyone was expecting, Blizzard fucked up. Again. This time by shitting on their Hearthstone players. Again. By updating the game in a way that destroys some of the more fun aspects of the game to make way for more microtransactions. Again.
To be fair, this is the same company that thought it'd be a good idea to sell a normal playing card for $20.
At this point, anyone shouldn't really expect anything from them.
Anyway, last week Blizzard updated Hearthstone with the highly anticipated Duos mode for Battlegrounds, which is the auto-battler mode for Hearthstone. Along with major content updates, there were a ton of the usual card balancing changes that one would expect for a typical TCG, But just at the bottom of these extensive patch notes, all the way down at the bottom here in teeny tiny text, it says some daily and weekly quests have been adjusted to be harder to complete but will grant more XP.
Some of these daily quests have had their goals tripled, like needing to win 15 ranked matches instead of just 5, or needing to play 60 mini cards instead of just 16. Effectively, they tripled every goal. Now at a glance, this isn't the worst thing they could have done. Grindy for sure, but not unheard of in a free-to-play game.
However, upon further investigation, we discovered that this change was hated by the Hearthstone community, as the new XP system almost solely relies on the weekly and daily quests to progress and get cards. In fact, the general consensus was so bad that the community manager of the game on the official Discord server is actively participating in discussions on the side of the player base.
While this is typical for the company, the uproar caused by the player base was felt so hard and fast that they immediately put out the statement on the game's site, declaring that they would be rolling out a hotfix to reverse most of these changes.
And here are just a few of the reversed changes. Instead of using your battle cry 100 times, you only have to use it 75 times, but it used to be 50. Instead of winning 15 ranked matches, you only have to do 10, but it used to be 5. Instead of using 60 mini cards, you only need to use 32, but it used to be 16. But that's okay, if things are doubled, you get double the XP, right?
You would think so, but you only actually get 20% XP. So yeah, no one is happy and we can add that to the counter. With that being said though, the community manager for Hearthstone, Ridiculous Hat, is an absolute Chad and has been mediating really well, doing the best he can. We may not play Hearthstone, but we do appreciate you. This week's Bear the Life Banger, a segment where we cover a game that our community doesn't think has had enough attention, comes to us from community member Flame Seamus, and it's called Cogmind.
If you know what Dwarf Fortress looked like before it was released on Steam, or what Rogue looks like, then Cogmind will be no stranger to you. Cogmind is probably one of the most roguelike roguelikes out there, as you play a robot who navigates a world as you salvage parts to upgrade yourself through turn-based battle. It's in early access, but it looks like the type of game that anyone can sink their teeth into, so give it a look. Here are the games coming out this week. Big week is both Sandland, which had an amazing trailer, and Stellar at Blade comes out this week.
I didn't realize this was the week Stellar Blade was coming out.
I thought it was already out.
No schedule for this week because our new mics are coming in and it may take some time to set up because audio is our kryptonite. But you should be expecting us to continue World's End Club and Galarians. So check out our community tab for updates.
And that's it for this week's Necro News. If you like what we do here and want to keep up to date, subscribe to the channel.
And if you stuck with us this far, thank you so much for watching the entire video, and a very special thank you to all our channel members. If you like our content and want to support us even more, consider joining.
That's all we have this week, so until next time everyone, goodbye.
Bye.